Film giant Tyler Perry has been accused of in a $260 million lawsuit. Perry is being sued by actor Daryl Dixon, accusing him of creating a coercive, exploitive dynamic while he was acting on the filmmaker's shows, The Oval and Ruthless. He alleges Perry promised him a successful acting career and then subjected him to escalating.
Tyler Perry is gay. I know he's gay. He knows he's gay. We all have friends that know he's gay. I've hung around Tyler Perry. I've known Tyler Perry for years. Tyler Perry is hiding in the closet trying to hide his.
If you a gay person and you in there, put some other gay people on. Put somebody on. Or don't be wondering why people keep saying gatekeepers. Because clearly, y'all are keeping these gates. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Hollywood is shaking, and this time it's not because of another celebrity breakup or awards show snub. This is deeper, darker, and way more dangerous. Comedy heavyweight and unapologetic truth teller Katt Williams has once again stepped into the spotlight, not for laughs, but to shine a scorching light on the kind of secrets the entertainment industry has spent decades trying to bury. And sitting squarely in the crosshairs, none other than Tyler Perry. That's right, Tyler Perry, the billionaire filmmaker, actor, studio mogul, and cultural powerhouse, is now embroiled in a legal firestorm that's threatening to dismantle his carefully cultivated empire. According to breaking reports, Perry is facing a massive $260 million lawsuit stemming from serious allegations of SA made by an actor from his own hit TV show, The Oval. The accusations are chilling, the dollar amount is staggering, and the implications, potentially career-ending. While the lawsuit alone is enough to make headlines, Katt's latest move might just blow the entire story wide open. In a shocking turn of events, Katt has revealed that he's sitting on explosive footage, undeniable, documented evidence that he claims Tyler Perry personally begged him not to release. That's right, not just gossip, not hearsay, but visual, behind-the-scenes content that could potentially corroborate stories or shine an even brighter light on what's really been going on behind the scenes at Perry's empire. And Katt isn't being subtle about it. According to him, Tyler reached out through back channels, trying to shut this down before it ever saw the light of day. Why? Because the footage doesn't just touch on the lawsuit, it goes even further. We're talking about power dynamics, whispered warnings from other actors, and what Katt describes as a long-standing culture of silence and fear surrounding some of the biggest names in Black Hollywood. For years, Katt Williams has been calling out what he sees as hypocrisy, exploitation, and corruption in the entertainment industry, long before it became trendy to do so. And now, in what might be his boldest move yet, he's naming names, dropping receipts, and making it clear that no one is above accountability, not even someone with studios, franchises, and global influence like Tyler Perry. And let's be real, this didn't come out of nowhere. There have been whispers for years, murmurs behind closed doors, rumors brushed off by PR teams and fans alike. But with this lawsuit dragging Perry's name into the courtroom, and Katt Williams now stepping up with physical evidence that he says could flip the narrative, the industry is holding its breath. Because this isn't just about one man, it's about power. It's about control. It's about a system that protects those at the top while silencing everyone else. So where does this go next? If Katt really drops the footage, and all signs point to the fact that he's ready to do exactly that, it could become one of the most damning exposés in modern Hollywood history, not only for Tyler Perry, but for anyone else caught in the web of silence, complicity, or cover-up. And as for Katt, he's not asking for permission. He's not waiting for approval. He's kicking down the door and telling the world, you wanted the truth? Here it is. And here's where things really take a turn. We're not just talking about rumors anymore. We're talking about legal action. For those of you who don't know, one of Hollywood's biggest names, Tyler Perry, the filmmaker, studio owner, and media mogul who built an empire on faith, family, and resilience, is now facing a $260 million lawsuit that could completely derail everything he's built. The suit was filed by Daryl Dixon, an actor known for playing the character Dale on Perry's popular BET drama, The Oval. But according to Dixon, life behind the scenes of that hit show was anything but glamorous. In court documents, he claims he was subjected to escalating SA and battery and professional retaliation, all allegedly at the hands of Tyler Perry himself. Let that sink in. Dixon says that when he didn't reciprocate Perry's alleged unwanted advances, the situation spiraled quickly. What started, according to him, as inappropriate comments or gestures, allegedly grew into full-blown harassment and followed by retaliation that affected his career. It's the kind of claim that, if true, doesn't just rock a personal reputation. It rattles the entire structure of a billion-dollar brand built on morality, empowerment, and clean content. But of course, Tyler Perry's legal team is calling BS loud and clear. In a sharply worded response, Perry's attorney Matthew Boyd dismissed the lawsuit as nothing more than a scam. His statement made it clear that the Perry camp views this as an attempted shakedown and that they believe these fabricated claims will collapse under scrutiny. Tyler will not be shaken down, Boyd declared, drawing a hard line and signaling that Perry has no intention of backing down or settling in the shadows. Now here's where the tension builds. On one side, you have Derek Dixon, an actor without Perry's power or resources, putting it all on the line by going public with serious allegations. On the other, you have one of the most protected, profitable names in entertainment, denying it all and gearing up for a brutal legal fight. And this is exactly the environment that Katt Williams is now stepping into with his alleged footage and inside information. He's not just airing dirty laundry, he's potentially throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. Because if even a fraction of what Katt claims to have proves true, it could lend credibility to Dixon's lawsuit, or at the very least, open the floodgates to more scrutiny, more testimonies, and more people speaking out about their own experiences in the Tyler Perry ecosystem. Let's be honest, this isn't just about two men and a lawsuit. It's about power dynamics in Hollywood, the dangers of unchecked influence, and what happens when people who've been silenced for too long finally say, enough. Dixon's legal team has yet to respond publicly beyond the filing itself, but the silence is already deafening. Whether that's a sign of more bombshells to come or a strategic pause before the next legal blow lands, we'll have to wait and see. What's clear is this: $260 million is not just a number. It's a shot across the bow of one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. And with Katt Williams entering the conversation with footage that Perry allegedly wanted buried, this story is nowhere near finished. As this firestorm around Tyler Perry continues to grow, the details coming out of the official lawsuit paint a disturbing and complex picture, one that's about far more than just he said. According to the legal complaint filed in a Los Angeles court on Friday, actor Derek Dixon lays out a timeline that traces his interactions with Perry back to 2019, and from the jump, he claims things quickly crossed professional lines. Here's what Dixon alleges. It all started when he was working for an event company that helped organize a party for Tyler Perry. That's when the two first met, and according to Dixon, Perry seemed genuinely interested in helping him advance his career. The two exchanged phone numbers, and what started off as a promising professional connection soon shifted, according to the lawsuit, into something far more personal and unwanted. Dixon says that Perry began sending him inappropriately suggestive text messages which are reportedly included in the lawsuit as evidence. These weren't just casual or friendly messages. Dixon claims they were overtly flirtatious and inappropriately charged, creating an uncomfortable power imbalance where it became clear that Perry's interest went beyond mentorship or industry networking. But things escalated. The lawsuit describes a chilling encounter in 2020. Perry allegedly invited Dixon to his private home in Douglasville, Georgia, just outside Atlanta. They had drinks, and Dixon accepted an invitation to crash in the guest room for the night. What happened next, according to Dixon's statement in the filing, crosses a serious boundary. Dixon alleges that during the night, Perry entered the guest bedroom uninvited, got into bed with him, and began rubbing Dixon's body around his inner thigh in a highly suggestive manner. At that point, Dixon says he immediately jumped out of bed and told Perry that he wasn't that clearly trying to assert his boundaries. These aren't vague accusations. These are specific, time-stamped, and accompanied, at least according to the lawsuit, by digital evidence, including texts. If this case makes it to trial, those messages could become a central pillar in determining whether Perry's behavior crossed the line from inappropriate to criminal. Now let's pause here for a second. If these allegations are true, this isn't just about misconduct. It's about a massive breach of trust and a blatant abuse of power. Dixon was a working actor trying to break through in an industry where opportunity is rare and power dynamics are everything. If Perry, a media titan with enormous influence, used that position to make unwanted, inappropriate advances, and then retaliated when those advances were rejected, the fallout could be seismic. and people are seeing all of this. One person wrote on X, "The allegations are being confirmed. Tyler Diddy 2.0. And that's where this story loops right back to Katt Williams. Because Katt isn't just talking about Hollywood in the abstract. He's calling out specific people, referencing documented behavior, and now potentially backing it all up with footage that Tyler Perry allegedly tried to keep buried. If the lawsuit cracks open the door to what Dixon experienced, Katt's footage could blow it off the hinges, showing a broader pattern or exposing conversations that Perry never expected to become public. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry's team continues to deny everything. His lawyer insists this is a shakedown, plain and simple, a money grab, a fabrication. But if the texts are real, if there's footage, and if Katt isn't bluffing, the conversation around Tyler Perry and the empire he's built could change forever. After the alleged 2020 encounter at Tyler Perry's Georgia home, where, according to the lawsuit, Perry got into bed with Derek Dixon and touched him inappropriately. Dixon says he tried to pull away. He stopped responding to Perry's messages. He wanted distance, but that silence didn't last forever because, as the lawsuit outlines, Perry came back into Dixon's life with an offer too big to ignore, a role on his hit show The Oval. In the lawsuit, he describes incident in 2021 when Mr. Dixon spent the night at Mr. Perry's house and claims that when Mr. Perry asked for a goodnight hug, he pulled down Mr. Dixon's underwear and began to vigorously grab and play with Dixon's in a manner. This is where the situation becomes even more complicated and much more revealing. It's one thing to walk away from someone's advances. It's another thing entirely when that person controls access to your livelihood, your dreams, and your future in one of the most competitive industries in the world. Dixon was an up-and-coming actor. Perry was, and is, one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, especially in Black Hollywood. The power imbalance here isn't just obvious, it's overwhelming. So when Perry, after allegedly being rejected, turned around and handed Dixon a role on a nationally televised series, it raises major questions. Was this a sincere professional opportunity? Or, as Dixon suggests, was it a calculated move to reassert control? Either way, it's clear that Dixon felt he couldn't just say no, because in Hollywood, saying no to the wrong person can end your career before it even begins. And let's be clear about who Tyler Perry is. This isn't just a successful director or actor. This is a man who has shaped the landscape of modern Black media. From the iconic Medea film series to his sprawling collection of TV dramas, Perry has created content that has dominated ratings and redefined representation. He's built a brand that blends Christian values, generational trauma, forgiveness, and family drama, all wrapped in a Southern, moralistic lens. In 2019, Perry made history when he opened his own 330-acre film studio in Atlanta, larger than Warner Brothers, Disney, and Paramount lots combined. It's not just a studio, it's a symbol of what Black excellence can look like in Hollywood when given space and autonomy. Major productions like Black Panther, The Walking Dead, and Pitch Perfect 3 have filmed on his sound stages. Presidents, royalty, and celebrities have praised his self-made journey. But what happens when that empire is allegedly built on fear, silence, and of power? That's the question at the heart of this lawsuit and the growing firestorm surrounding it. Because when someone with that much influence offers a job, it doesn't always feel like a choice. It feels like compliance disguised as opportunity. And for someone like Dixon, who was just trying to carve out his place in the industry, that role on the Oval might have seemed like the reward he'd been working toward. But according to his lawsuit, it was anything but a gift. It was leverage. And it was only the beginning of a deeper, more disturbing pattern of behavior that he says continued well into 2021. Now, with this lawsuit out in the open, and Katt Williams allegedly preparing to drop footage that may back up some of these claims, or at the very least, expose the hidden culture around Perry's operations, the weight of that empire is being tested. Perry's legacy, his studios, his carefully managed public image, it's all under the microscope now. And the question isn't just whether the allegations are true, it's whether the industry and the people who've long protected its giants are finally ready to hold them accountable. For years, Tyler Perry has worn many hats: writer, director, producer, actor, and mogul. But there's one title that quietly followed him around the industry, whispered in back rooms and backstage green rooms, rarely challenged in public: the gatekeeper. Ask around in Black Hollywood circles, and you'll hear it often. Tyler Perry has long been seen as the man who decides who gets in and who stays out. He built his own table when Hollywood wouldn't give him a seat, and in doing so, created a powerful, insular network of opportunity. If you were a black actor trying to break into the business, especially on TV, a call from Tyler Perry could change your life overnight, and he knew it. With his studio in Atlanta, his ownership of entire creative pipelines, from script to screen, and his unwavering control over his productions, Perry created a space that looked like liberation. But some are now saying it came at a cost. Behind the scenes, there were always rumors, always whispers. Some said he played favorites. Others said if you got on his bad side, your career was over before it began. But anytime those stories started to circulate, they were either dismissed as jealousy or quickly swept under the rug. Why? Because nobody wanted to challenge the man who held the keys. Don't bite the hand that feeds you was the unspoken rule. And for a long time, no one did. But now, in the wake of the $260 million lawsuit filed by the Oval actor Derek Dixon, and with Katt Williams allegedly preparing to leak receipts that Perry desperately tried to keep hidden, that silence is breaking wide open. Insiders and observers alike are beginning to say the quiet part out loud. Tyler didn't just build a media empire, he built a wall around himself. A wall reinforced by NDAs, loyalty, and the fear of professional exile. There's talk that Perry has gone to great lengths to keep information hidden, especially anything that could cast a shadow on his pristine image as Hollywood's self-made moral compass. According to sources close to the situation, Perry's real fear was never just about legal trouble, it was about reputation. He spent decades branding himself as the face of Black empowerment, Christian values, and family-friendly content. Any allegations of manipulation or misconduct would threaten not just his projects, but his entire identity as a cultural icon. So stories stayed buried, whispers stayed whispers, and those who knew more than they could say stayed quiet, or got paid to stay quiet. But that era is coming to an end. Now, with legal documents hitting the courts, screenshots allegedly in the hands of investigators, and Katt Williams loading up footage that he says Perry personally begged him not to release, the curtain is finally being pulled back. The question isn't whether Tyler Perry has power. He absolutely does. The question is, what did he do with it? And what did he do to protect it? Because when you're the gatekeeper of an industry, you control who gets to walk through the doors. But eventually, the people locked out start knocking louder. And some, like Derek Dixon and Katt Williams, are ready to kick the doors wide open. And now, the very walls that once protected Perry's empire are starting to crumble, brick by brick, secret by secret. One of the most controversial and long-whispered claims surrounding Tyler Perry has nothing to do with his work ethic, talent, or even his success. It's about his and more specifically, how it allegedly intersects with the power he wields behind closed doors.
Tyler Perry fooled the whole Black community. He got us to do what RuPaul couldn't get us to do. He got us to do what no one else, and he came up with an ingenious way to do it. He and he alone got Black folk to accept drag. And you know how he did it? He did it through laughter, through humor. He got us to accept drag queens. That's all Madea is a drag queen.
For years, there have been rumors floating through industry circles, gossip blogs, and late-night conversations among aspiring actors that Tyler Perry, despite his carefully crafted public image, is a closeted gay man. While Perry himself has never publicly confirmed or denied these rumors, it's what's allegedly happened in the shadows that now has people talking louder than ever. According to those who've worked closely with him, or tried to, there's a disturbing pattern that some claim has gone unchecked for years. Multiple sources and insiders have said that Perry allegedly used his influence and authority to offer young, impressionable men roles, money, and higher positions in exchange for inappropriate compliance. And here's the key part: not because these men were gay or even curious, but because they felt they had no other choice if they wanted to advance. These aren't consensual relationships built on mutual desire. These are alleged power plays, dressed up as opportunity. And while some may argue, well, they didn't have to say yes, the truth is far more complicated in a world where one man can make or break your career with a single phone call. We're talking about a space where dreams collide with desperation, where struggling actors are promised a shot at the big time, but only if they play by rules they never agreed to. And while Derek Dixon is now boldly putting his name on the lawsuit and exposing what he says happened to him, many others have stayed silent out of fear, loyalty, or because they're still dependent on that same system to survive. Several unconfirmed stories have circulated over the years, some saying that Perry surrounded himself with male assistants, interns, and aspiring actors, promising career boosts that always seem to come with strings. Others say that certain well-known male actors owed their big breaks not just to talent, but to private loyalty. None of this has been legally proven, and Perry has vehemently denied any misconduct through his legal team. But the conversation is growing louder, especially now, with Katt Williams reportedly holding evidence that many believe speaks directly to this secret culture of coercion. Here's the truth. This isn't just about one man's. That, in and of itself, is no one's business. What is everyone's business is whether that identity was allegedly used to manipulate, control, and exploit others under the guise of mentorship and opportunity. And for every Derek Dixon who steps forward, there are likely dozens more who feel they can't. Because Tyler Perry isn't just a man in the industry, he is the industry for many black creatives. Speaking out against him doesn't just risk your next job, it risks your entire future. But now that the veil is being lifted, slowly but surely, the question isn't just who else will come forward, it's how long can this house of secrets stay standing? Because no amount of influence, success, or polished public image can hold back the truth forever. And if the stories are true, then Tyler Perry isn't just being exposed by Derek Dixon. He's being exposed by the system he built and the silence he demanded. The gatekeeping isn't the only way Tyler Perry has allegedly kept people under his control. If you've been paying attention to Hollywood, particularly Black Hollywood, then you've probably heard the long-running conversation and growing criticism around Perry's obsession with putting black male actors in dresses. And no, this isn't just about comedy or character work. For many, it's about control, humiliation, and the quiet erasure of dignity. And many huge celebrities have talked about it.
But I still think there a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery. And I know it's making a lot of money, breaking records, but we could do better. That's just my opinion.
For years, critics, fans, and even fellow actors have questioned why so many of Perry's productions, especially his early films and stage plays, have leaned so heavily on cross-dressing roles for black men. Of course, Perry's own alter ego, Medea, is the most famous example. But it's deeper than that. Behind the laughs, there's a pattern that some believe has very little to do with art and everything to do with power.
We're talking about Tyler Perry at this point. No, I mean, look, I'm not saying we're talking, let's not give them fodder for tabloid. I'm not saying we're talking about Tyler Perry, but those are the shows that we're talking about. If we're talking about that, and we look at the numbers that come and see his movies, that view the shows on TBS, my question is that in fact maybe what Black America wants to see?
A lot of this is on us. You know, you vote with your pocketbook, your wallet, you vote with your time, sit in front of the idiot box. And the man has a huge audience, and Tyler's very smart. You know what he's done. He started out, you know, with these plays, and church buses would pull up, packed, and he's parlayed it into a, you know, bought his own jet. You know, you can buy a jet, you got money. But at the same time, for me, just imagery is troubling.
Here's the claim. When a black man steps into a dress in Hollywood, especially under the direction of someone like Perry, it's not always by choice. It's often by design. A design that many believe is meant to strip them of masculinity, pride, and public respect, all while dangling the carrot of fame, money, and career advancement in front of them. Actors who agree to do it get exposure. They get a check. They get seen, but they also get silenced, because once they've participated, they're now a part of the system. They've played the role, accepted the gig, and taken the spotlight. So even if they feel uncomfortable about what it meant or how it was portrayed, they can't risk speaking out. And in that silence, Perry's grip gets tighter. Let's be real. Ego matters in this industry. Pride matters. Public image matters. So when a powerful figure gives you a platform, but only if you're willing to wear a dress, or lean into a caricature that undermines your strength or masculinity, it sends a message. This is the cost of your visibility. And Tyler knows, but he thinks it's just hysterics, and he's defended himself a lot.
Heard it all, yeah.
How do you respond to that?
There's a certain part of our society, especially black people in the culture, that they look down on certain things within the culture. For me, I love the movies that I've done because they are the people that I grew up with, that I represent. So when someone says you're hearkening back to a point of our life that we don't want to talk about it, we don't want the world to see, you're dismissing the stories of millions and millions of black people. And that's why I think it's been so successful, because it resonates with a lot of us who know these women and these experiences, and Uncle Joe and so on and so forth.
And this isn't just theoretical. Several well-known black comedians and actors have raised this issue over the years. Dave Chappelle famously refused to wear a dress during a shoot, calling it a pattern used in the industry to degrade black men under the guise of comedy. Others have stayed silent, but the discomfort is visible because behind the scenes, it's understood. If you say no, you risk losing everything.
With certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. That's happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a and he put this dress on and what? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this.
And that's where Tyler Perry's influence hits hardest. He doesn't just control access. According to critics, he controls the narrative of who gets to be visible and how they are portrayed, especially when it comes to black men. Whether it's dressing them up as women, writing them into hyper-dramatic toxic relationships, or casting them in roles that play into stereotypes, Perry has been accused of reinforcing caricatures instead of challenging them. And in doing so, he allegedly ensures that even the people who make it through his gates still have to play by his rules. So when people talk about Perry as the gatekeeper, it's not just about who gets through the door. It's about how you're allowed to exist once you're inside. You might get the role, the screen time, the exposure, but what do you lose in the process? Your voice, your dignity, your ability to say no? And when someone like Derek Dixon challenges the system by saying, "This happened to me and it's not okay," he's not just attacking one man. He's confronting an entire structure built on quiet obedience, image management, and creative control disguised as opportunity. Because the real power isn't just in giving someone a job, it's in shaping who they become while they're working for you, and making sure they're grateful enough, desperate enough, or afraid enough not to question it. But now with lawsuits being filed, footage allegedly about to be released, and more voices beginning to crack through the surface, that fear is starting to fade. And when fear fades, the truth follows. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you liked this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.